Bolts Nation, stop what you're doing. This is not a drill. Major shockwaves are shaking the very core of the Los Angeles Chargers organization. And what you're about to hear could change everything you thought you knew about the 2025 NFL season. Three critical developments have erupted behind the scenes, and each one could send the Chargers in a completely new direction. We're talking about a potential exit from one of the NFL's sharpest defensive minds, a shocking revelation about a key player's hidden weakness, and chaos brewing in the wide receiver room that no one saw coming. But before we dive into these game-changing updates, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel right now, and hit that bell icon so you never miss breaking news that could reshape the future of the Chargers. All right, let's get into it. The pressure is mounting in Los Angeles. Rumors are swirling around the Chargers locker room, and insiders are leaking stories that have fans and analysts alike questioning the direction of Jim Harbaugh's rebuild. A crossroads is here, and what happens next could define the franchise for years to come. Stay locked in, because this isn't just football news. This is a potential turning point in Chargers history. What if I told you the most unpredictable season in Chargers history might be staring us in the face? Not next year. Not sometime down the line. Right now. And it all begins with the name that strikes fear into quarterbacks across the league. Tieran Matthews. Yes, the Honey Badger. Three-time Pro Bowler. Super Bowl champion. Defensive general. And believe it or not, he might be eyeing Los Angeles as his next battlefield. This isn't just another whispers from the league kind of rumor. This is the kind of move that reshapes the soul of a defense. At 33, Matthews isn't just padding his career stats or hunting for one last contract. He's looking for a real shot at another ring. The Saints? They're not that team anymore. And deep inside, you can bet he knows it. But the Chargers? With Jim Harbaugh's aggressive rebuild and a locker room hungry for greatness, this is where stars come to rise, or rise again. Imagine the impact. Pair Matthews with recent secondary pickups like Dante Jackson and Alohi Gilman, and suddenly you're looking at a defense that doesn't just compete, it suffocates. A secondary that closes windows before the quarterback even blinks. And let's be real, Matthews' 800-plus tackles, 36 picks, and 100-plus pass deflections aren't just numbers. They're blueprints, signs of a player who has seen it all and won. He's a proven playmaker who thrives in chaos, and the kind of leader this locker room could rally around. If this deal happens, and it's starting to feel more like when than if, it won't just be a smart addition. It could be the spark that turns a solid defense into a legendary one. The kind that makes opposing teams dread Sundays in LA. Bolts Nation, this is bigger than anyone realized. The Chargers may be on the verge of making one of the most brilliant defensive moves in franchise history. But just as one side of the ball starts to look unstoppable, a quiet storm is forming on the other. Let's start with the potential arrival of Tieran Matthews. This isn't just about adding talent. It's about bringing in a true field general, someone who reads offenses like a seasoned chess master and turns breakdowns into back-breaking turnovers. He doesn't just play defense, he commands it. Now here's the jaw-dropping part. Sources say the Honey Badger could be available for a 6th or 7th round pick. That's right. One of the most instinctive, decorated safeties in recent memory. Possibly joining the Chargers for the price of a backup's backup. That's not a deal. That's a heist. But just as Chargers fans begin dreaming of a dominant, championship-caliber defense, a warning siren is sounding from the offensive line, and it's coming from a place no one expected. Rashon Slater, our Pro Bowl left tackle, the Rock, the blindside bodyguard of Justin Herbert, the man many thought would anchor this line for a decade. But now, NFL scouts are quietly sounding alarms. Reports are surfacing that Slater, despite his elite status, wears down in the fourth quarter. Fatigue, technique slip-ups, slower reaction times. And in a league where games are decided in the final minutes, that kind of vulnerability isn't just a concern, it's a crisis. This isn't just bad timing. It's catastrophic timing. Slater is now eligible for a major contract extension, and what was once considered a no-brainer deal is suddenly under the microscope. If your left tackle, the heartbeat of your pass protection, starts breaking down when everything's on the line, what does that mean for Herbert's future, or the team's Super Bowl window? The Chargers are balancing on a knife's edge. One brilliant move could launch them into title contention, but one hidden flaw could unravel it all. Bolts Nation, what you're about to hear could reshape the entire season. We've already seen cracks forming on the offensive line, but what's happening now might be even more alarming. It's no longer just about protection, it's about production, and the Chargers' receiving core is spiraling into full-blown crisis mode. Let's rewind for a second. The situation with Rashon Slater is more than just a footnote. It's a flashing red warning light. He's still elite, no question. His footwork, his hands, his understanding of the position, it's all first class. But the issue isn't about what he can do in the first 3 quarters. It's about what he can't do when the game is on the line. Fourth quarter. Game-winning drives. One-score battles. These are the moments where championships are built. And if your anchor on the line begins to break down when your quarterback needs him most, the ripple effect is massive. It impacts protection schemes, play calling, even Herbert's confidence in staying in the pocket under pressure. And while the front office debates how to approach a long-term deal for Slater, another emergency just detonated. The wide receiver room is officially in chaos. The Chargers' depth chart was already feeling thin, but now, the situation has hit DEFCON 1. Mike Williams, once expected to be a consistent weapon for Justin Herbert, has opened training camp on the PUP list, physically unable to perform. This isn't just another minor training camp setback. This is a foundational piece of the offense not available when every rep counts, when chemistry with your quarterback is forged, and when young receivers look to veterans to set the tone. Williams' absence immediately raises panic-level questions. Who steps up? Who becomes the red zone threat? The deep ball guy. The go-to target when it's 3rd and 10 and the game's on the line? And let's not forget, Keenan Allen is gone. The Chargers needed Williams to step into a leadership role and help guide this reshaped receiver group. Instead, they're staring down the barrel of uncertainty at a position where uncertainty is a killer. What's unfolding now is not just a preseason inconvenience. It's a roster emergency that could define the outcome of this season. And this offense, which was once considered one of the most promising in the league, it's suddenly looking fragile, vulnerable, incomplete. Bolts Nation, the situation is teetering on the edge, and no one's hitting the brakes. This isn't just about bad luck. It's not just another injury. What we're witnessing is a full-scale identity crisis in the Chargers' receiving room, and the timing couldn't be worse. Let's start with the hard truth. Mike Williams, a player with a well-documented injury history, is already sidelined before the real hitting even begins. And yet, this is the player the front office chose to invest in as a major piece of the new offense. A gamble that's already looking like it could collapse before week 1. But it doesn't stop there. The second-round draft pick, Trey Harris, touted as the future of the position, hasn't even stepped onto the field. Why? Because he's in a contract standoff. That's right. The rookie hasn't signed, hasn't practiced, and may not be available when this team needs him most. So now, Justin Herbert, your franchise quarterback, is staring down the barrel of a season with a receiving core made up of question marks, inexperience, and desperation. But here's what makes this all absolutely maddening. Keenan Allen, the franchise legend, the one wide receiver who actually had Herbert's trust and chemistry, is still available in free agency, still unsigned, still watching from the sidelines. Allen is second in team history in receptions and yards. He posted 70 catches, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns last year with a rookie quarterback in Chicago, and the Chargers let him walk, just to replace him with a player who can't stay healthy, and another who hasn't even signed. It's not just puzzling, it's a strategic disaster. Keenan doesn't need to be your every down guy at 33. But imagine having him on the field in the final 2 minutes of a one-score game. Imagine the comfort Justin Herbert would have, knowing there's a guy out there who's been through the fire, made the tough grabs, and delivered in the clutch time and time again. Instead, we're here. One receiver out, one unsigned, and a front office that's dangerously close to watching an entire position group unravel before the season starts. And let's not forget, a potential Tieran Matthews deal that could strengthen the defense, Rashon Slater's fourth-quarter stamina concerns, and now, a receiving core that feels one injury away from collapse. These aren't isolated incidents. They're pieces of a much bigger, much more dangerous puzzle. So here's the million-dollar question. Can Jim Harbaugh navigate this chaos and turn it into a contender? Or are we watching the early warning signs of a season on the verge of implosion? One thing's certain, something has to give.